The moment you allow blood vessels to grow into that microscopic mass, that tumor will grow 16,000 times in 2 weeks. It'll explode. This is like a trigger that's get pulled in order to have cancers grow up.
Did you know that nearly 40% of people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime? Cancer is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. But what if you could influence your body's ability to fight it just by choosing the right foods? Stick around to discover surprising answers with insights from Dr. William Li, a world-renowned physician, scientist, and cancer researcher known for his pioneering work in disease prevention through diet.
I actually been involved with developing 41 FDA-approved new treatments for cancer, diabetes, and prevent blindness.
Before we dive into the foods that can help fight cancer, it's important to understand how cancer develops and what your body does to protect itself. Cancer doesn't appear overnight. It grows gradually, often hiding in the body for years before being detected. So how can we stop it before it gets out of control? The answer lies in understanding the body's natural defense systems, 5 powerful mechanisms that work together to protect us from diseases like cancer. In this video, we will cover the following: a brief look at cancer and how it develops, what makes it so dangerous, and why early prevention is key. Then, we'll explore the 5 defense systems that keep our bodies resilient and capable of stopping cancer in its tracks. Next, we'll reveal the top foods that support these defenses and actively fight cancer. And finally, we'll highlight the foods to avoid, because some everyday choices can actually fuel cancer growth without you even realizing it. So, let's get started by taking a closer look at cancer itself and how it progresses.
We all have cancers growing inside our body. It's a natural part of being alive. When our cells divide, they make mistakes, and each of those tiny little mistakes is a microscopic cancer.
Cancer grows silently over time, starting with just a few abnormal cells that escape our body's control. In a healthy body, these cells are usually destroyed before they can cause harm. But when things like poor diet, inflammation, or genetics come into play, these abnormal cells can start multiplying. Over time, they form tumors and even create their own blood supply to continue growing. If unchecked, they can spread to other parts of the body.
All tumors are harmless until they actually get a blood supply. And this is a process called tumor angiogenesis. Now, our normal cells, our normal tissues have angiogenesis. We need them in order to be able to heal our wounds. But tumors hijack this process, okay? And they actually feed themselves to get oxygen and nutrients. And when a cancer actually does that, that is actually what allows tumors to actually grow wildly. In fact, studies in the lab have shown that without a blood supply, tumors can't grow beyond about 2 millimeters in diameter. That's the size of the tip of a ballpoint pen. But the moment blood vessels can actually grow up and touch that tumor and feed it, that tumor can grow 16,000 times in just 2 weeks' time. All right. So angiogenesis, which is normal for healing, good for our body. When tumors hijack it, the oxygen and nutrients allow the cancer to explode in growth.
Now that we've seen how cancer begins and silently grows, let's shift our focus to the body's natural defenses.
The body is designed better than a medieval castle. We've got our own defense systems, and there's 5 of them that I know about, and I helped to kind of put together this picture, partly because I studied the biotechnology. How do you actually treat diseases using these systems? And when you forget about the disease part and you think about the health part, these are the systems, these 5 systems that maintain our health. So I'll tell you what they are. First health defense system is called angiogenesis. That's what I study. Blood vessels, a 60,000-mile channel that delivers oxygen and nutrients everywhere.
This system controls the growth of blood vessels, which is crucial for healing and tissue repair.
When we have just the right amount of blood vessels, our body is healthy. Now, when you're going to go to work out, all right, you're going to pump some iron, your muscles got to grow. Now you need a few more blood vessels, all right? If you skin your knee and fall off a bike, got to heal that wound. Underneath that scab, you got new blood vessels growing to heal. Now, the body never lets too many blood vessels to grow or causes problems.
But here's the catch. Cancer cells can hijack this process, growing their own blood supply to fuel themselves.
The moment you allow blood vessels to grow into that microscopic mass, that tumor will grow 16,000 times in 2 weeks. It'll explode. This is like a trigger that's get pulled in order to have cancers grow up.
So how can you prevent that from happening?
For that reason, biotech companies started to develop anti-angiogenic drugs to treat cancer by cutting off the blood supply. So there are about a dozen anti-angiogenic drugs that have changed the game for treating kidney cancer and liver cancer and lung cancer and even brain cancer. All right. So we know that we can actually do this with drugs. The question is, can we do it with food? All right. Second one is our stem cells.
Stem cells regenerate and replace damaged tissues, playing a key role in healing.
It turns out that people do regenerate. We don't regenerate that quickly, but we regenerate from the inside out. Like a lizard can regenerate like a limb or a tail, but we regenerate our organs continuously. Our lung regenerates, our liver regenerates. Okay.
But did you know they can also target abnormal cells and fight cancer?
You have too much to drink. Now your liver needs to be regenerated. You cut yourself. Now you need to actually heal that wound. These stem cells come flying out of our bone marrow like bees out of a hive.
Wow.
To regenerate us, renew us from the inside out. And there are biotech efforts that I've been a part of to try to grow new heart, grow new brain, regenerate nerves. Not ready for prime time yet, but it turns out that foods can coax these stem cells out of our bone marrow so we regenerate faster.
Maintaining healthy stem cells is critical to keeping your body's defense system strong.
Third one is our gut microbiome. Now, people have been talking about gut health and microbiome. It's almost like a buzzword these days.
Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria that not only aid in digestion, but also strengthen your immune system and even influence cancer risk.
There are 39 trillion bacteria in the typical body. That's more stars than in the night sky. All right.
Wow.
So we barely understand the gut bacteria, but what we do know is that this gut bacteria actually controls our metabolism, communicates with our brain, actually can help us heal from the inside out. And very importantly, our gut bacteria basically lives, if you think of your gut like a garden hose, it's a tube, and you were to cut a garden hose in half and you look inside it, there's a lining, okay? The bacteria is inside the hose, but inside the wall of the garden hose, that's where your immune system, 70% of our immune system lives inside our gut. Now, when you've got a crappy gut and you feel crummy in your gut, I guarantee you, like, it's not just because you're irritated, it's affecting your brain as well. And by the way, even conditions like autism, Alzheimer's, and schizophrenia are all now seemingly connected to our gut bacteria.
A healthy gut means a stronger defense against disease.
Number 4, our DNA. DNA is a lot more than our genetic code. It actually protects us from the environment. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you know how if we are exposed to, we get sunburn, ultraviolet light, you damage your DNA, and what happens? Cancer, skin cancer, right? If you inhale lots of fumes from a chemical plant, it's going to actually damage your DNA in your lungs. You get lung cancer. You are actually getting ultraviolet radiation. So how come we don't get skin cancer all the time? Because our DNA is hardwired to fix itself from damage. And so the DNA is a protective mechanism from the environment.
Every day, your DNA is under attack from factors like environmental toxins, diet, and even natural aging. But your body has built-in mechanisms to repair and protect this genetic material. If these systems fail, damaged DNA can lead to cancer.
Foods can actually speed up the repair, help fix holes that are in our DNA. And then the other kind of pièce de résistance for our DNA's defense is that there's something called a telomere. Basically, if your DNA is like a shoelace, the telomere is like the little plastic cap at the end of the shoelace. And over time, that little cap kind of wears down, just like on a shoelace. And you know, when that cap is gone, man, that your shoelace just falls apart. And that's what happens to our DNA. So we need that cap. That's called the telomere, and it burns down like a life fuse. So, you know, like Mission Impossible, light the fuse, right? So this thing is burning down, and when it burns down, that's it. Your cell's done. So what you want to do is to slow down your cellular aging, and harsh things that you do to your body, smoking cigarettes, being a couch potato, being exposed to damaging oxidative stress, actually just being stressed out. Those things all shorten our telomeres. They burn the fuse faster, but foods can slow it down, and some foods can reverse it and lengthen the telomere.
Finally, we reach the immune system, the body's ultimate defense against invaders.
What if I told you that your immune system is so powerful that when it's in its best shape, even when you're 80 years old, it is strong enough to fight cancer. In fact, it can even wipe out metastatic cancer that's spread all over your body. That's how strong your immune system is if you give it the chance.
Your immune system patrols your body, looking for harmful cells, including cancerous ones, to eliminate before they can cause damage.
What happens is that when you've got good, strong defenses, you can fight off invaders from the outside, bacteria and viruses, for example. But it's not just outside invaders. You got inside invaders as well. And those little microscopic cancers are inside invaders. And so our immune system patrols our body, okay? Cops on a beat. And they're looking for things that don't look right. And you see that microscopic cancer that can't grow because it doesn't have a blood vessels feeding it, angiogenesis. Basically, the immune system goes there and takes them right out. Okay. Wow. And takes a sniper shot and it's gone.
But sometimes cancer cells can trick the immune system into ignoring them. Boosting your immune system with the right foods can help keep this crucial defense sharp and ready to fight off disease.
That's why we got to protect our immune system. And there are lots of foods that can actually boost our immunity as well.
Now that we understand how each of these 5 defenses works tirelessly to protect us, here's the exciting part. We can give them a powerful boost just by choosing the right foods. Dr. Lee's groundbreaking research shows that certain foods not only fuel these defenses, but can actually help prevent cancer from taking hold. Let's look at these extraordinary foods and see how they can arm our bodies to fight off disease at every level. Number 1. Green tea. Rich in catechins, especially EGCG, green tea blocks angiogenesis.
Green tea actually has been lowered risk of colorectal cancer, okay, particularly in women. And what's in a cup of green tea are these polyphenols, EGCG. And when you drink it, it gets in your bloodstream. Why? Because the blood vessels are carrying it. And now your blood vessels loaded with this cancer-starving stuff. These little tumors don't have a chance. And then for green tea, if you have matcha, which you find in a ceremonial tea, you find in a Japanese restaurant, it's bright green tea. It's kind of opaque because it's actually made with powder. And it's the entire tea leaf that's powdered. A lot of people don't realize this, but matcha is super packed with polyphenols. Actually done a study to show that matcha tea extracts can kill breast cancer stem cells.
Wow.
I'm always amazed by that because, look, as somebody who's been involved with biotech development and cancer treatment development, finding something that could kill stem cells, cancer stem cells, like breast cancer stem cells, which is what makes cancers come back, is a holy grail. We don't have a drug for it, but here, matcha tea actually been shown in the lab to actually be able to do that. To me, is actually really jaw-dropping.
Studies show that daily consumption of green tea lowers the risk of breast, prostate, and colorectal cancers. Number 2. Brassica vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, and kale are packed with sulforaphane, a compound that disrupts cancer cell growth and detoxifies harmful substances.
And these sulforaphanes, what do? They boost the immune system, right? Good, strong immune system knocks out microscopic cancers.
They did a study looking at people getting the flu shot, and they gave half the people a little shake made with broccoli sprouts, and the other group just got a placebo. And the people who got the broccoli sprout shake and the flu shot, their beneficial response of their immune system is 22 times higher. Like, it totally rocked.
Sulforaphane is especially effective against digestive cancers like colon and stomach cancer.
Also lowers inflammation. Inflammation is like the gasoline on a fire, making the cancer grow hotter and faster. When you actually calm inflammation, you're putting out the fire, all right? They starve the cancer by cutting off the blood supply.
Number 3, papaya. Papaya is rich in vitamin C, beta-carotene, and lycopene.
Papaya has been shown to actually lower the risk of lung cancer. Now, why is that? Well, that red color in papaya contains carotenoids, something called beta-cryptoxanthin and beta-carotene. And these actually are also anti-inflammatory, and You guessed it by now. You get the drift. It's actually anti-angiogenic as well.
The enzyme papain helps break down harmful proteins linked to cancer. Regular consumption is linked to a lower risk of cervical cancer and other cancers. Number 4. Purple potatoes. Anthocyanins in purple potatoes neutralize free radicals, protecting cells from oxidative stress. Studies suggest they can trigger cancer cell death, particularly in colon cancer.
And there's one additional thing that I think is absolutely brilliant about purple potatoes, and the research that have been done on them in a lab, is that purple potatoes actually have been shown to kill cancer stem cells. Now, cancers are just an abnormal mass of cells, but when they keep on coming back, they need their own stem cells to regenerate themselves. You know, when a cancer patient actually has their tumor removed by surgery, treated by chemo or radiation, and you're done, right, for 5 years, but sometimes they come back. Well, the reason those cancer cells come back is because of their stem cells. That cancer figures out how to resurrect itself. And so purple potatoes actually have been shown to kill colon cancer stem cells. What an amazing thing.
Number 5. Pomegranates. Pomegranates contain ellagic acid, which inhibits cancer cell growth and prevents tumors from forming blood vessels.
Now, these seeds and pomegranate juice are packed with bioactives. These are naturally occurring chemicals that give foods their biological punch. Okay, this is what you eat to beat disease, are these foods with these bioactives. And in pomegranate, they're called elagitannins. Now, elagitannins also help to give the bite, the kind of acidity, and also contribute to the color of the pomegranate. So what do elagitannins do? Well, they do a couple of things. Pomegranate elagitannins have been shown to cut off the blood supply to tumors, all right, starve cancer, anti-angiogenic. And in fact, clinical studies have even been done in men with prostate cancer showing that pomegranate juice can actually slow down the rise of PSA. Now, if you don't know, PSA is a blood marker that goes up when you have prostate cancer. And for men who are actually having their PSA go up, having pomegranate juice pretty much kept them at a cruising altitude so they wouldn't actually keep rising. Pretty amazing, right? So what do we think actually is going on? Well, it turns out elagitannins are anti-angiogenic. They cut off the blood supply to cancer. And in the case of prostate cancer, would make the prostate cancer harder, make it harder for them to actually grow and become more aggressive. Hence, we think this is actually why the PSA actually is able to be leveled off. Now, the other thing that pomegranate juice does, which is really amazing, is that the elagitannins, which you eat, trickles down your gut, goes down to your lower gut, your colon, and it stimulates your colon to produce natural mucus, right? We think about mucus normally in the upper throat, back of the mouth, right? If you want to actually have spit, right? But mucus is all throughout our GI tract, all throughout our intestines, and in the colon. When your colon secretes mucus, mucin, it helps a natural, healthy gut bacteria called Akkermansia muciniphila. Some people say mucinophilia, wrong. Akkermansia muciniphila. This is one of your best friends of gut bacteria because Akkermansia, when it comes to cancer, talks to your immune system, makes your immune system a lot beefier and stronger in the battle against cancer. So here's pomegranate with pomegranate juice with elagitannins that actually lower inflammation. They starve cancer by cutting off the blood supply. They help nurture your gut microbiome, including an organism, Akkermansia muciniphila, that actually talks to your immune system and helps your immune system pounce and get rid of cancer.
They are particularly effective against breast and prostate cancers. Number 6. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are a major source of lycopene, known for its role in preventing prostate cancer.
Lycopene is a carotenoid. It helps to make the tomato red. It has lots and lots of healthful properties. It's a powerful antioxidant. I've studied lycopene in a laboratory, and it actually can help starve cancers by cutting off the blood supply. It can slow the shortening of telomeres to slow cellular aging, and it can actually protect our DNA from even sunlight and ultraviolet exposure. Lots of good things about it.
Cooking tomatoes increases their lycopene content, making cooked dishes like sauces especially beneficial.
Here's what research has found. If you wanted to convert that chemical structure of lycopene into a form that you can absorb better, your body can avidly absorb, what you want to do is you want to heat the tomato like in a pan, and with the heat will change the chemical structure from a form your body doesn't absorb that well into a form that your body avidly absorbs, loves to absorb it. Now you go from 20% absorption to 80% absorption. You flipped it around completely, upended that equation completely. Now you're really absorbing it. Now, here's one additional thing though. How would you heat a tomato in a pan? You heat it in water or nothing? No, not really. You put a little bit of olive oil in it. And why is that? And it's because lycopene is a substance that we call fat soluble. It's a lipid. It loves to dissolve into fats. So a little bit of olive oil in tomatoes on a pan, sauteed, so it's soft, change the chemical structure. Flavors are really great now. And you have that. Now when you eat that tomato sauce sauteed in olive oil, the olive oil with the lycopene is carried into your body even more efficiently than if it were cooked in water.
Number 7. Turmeric. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, has powerful anti-cancer properties. It inhibits cancer cell proliferation and prevents metastasis.
The curcumin has a lot of properties: anti-inflammatory, it's antioxidant, it cuts off the blood supply feeding cancers. It actually is helpful for your stem cells as well. It really activates almost all of your body's health defenses, and it's good for your gut microbiome.
Pairing turmeric with black pepper enhances curcumin absorption, making it even more potent.
It turns out that if you have fresh cracked black pepper, there's a substance in fresh cracked black pepper called piperine.
Yeah.
Piperine is one of Mother Nature's, again, these remarkable chemicals that actually influences the body. And piperine helps the body hang on to the curcumin. So if you have fresh cracked black pepper with your turmeric, you're actually creating a 1-2 punch that allows you to absorb more of the curcumin.
Number 8. Blueberries. Blueberries are rich in flavonoids, which protect DNA from damage and reduce inflammation.
Blueberries are a food that definitely boosts the immune system. It's in young people as well as older people. They boost the natural killer cells, which is really cool.
The anthocyanins in blueberries have been shown to inhibit tumor growth, potentially lowering the risk of breast and colon cancers.
Anthocyanin is a kind of a reddish, purplish natural dye that is anti-angiogenic, immune boosting activity. And eating berries actually is really helpful for your health defenses.
Number 9. Apples. Apples contain quercetin, a powerful flavonoid with anti-cancer properties, linked to reduced risks of lung, breast, and pancreatic cancers. They also promote gut health, which is essential for cancer prevention.
Well, it turns out that 2 apples a day actually can lower the rate of lung cancer and colon cancer. Why? Because there are natural substances in apples like quercetin. That's one of the natural chemicals that actually are naturally anti-angiogenic.
Number 10. Dark chocolate. High-quality dark chocolate, 70% cocoa or higher, is rich in polyphenols and flavonoids that slow cancer cell growth and reduce inflammation.
I'll tell you, these natural chemicals found in cacao actually trigger a reaction in your body so that they call out the stem cells. So it is literally like bees flying out of a hive, can double the number of stem cells. And what's the practical impact? Well, there was a study done at UCSF in San Francisco that looked at 60-year-old men with heart disease. So these are people whose blood vessels were already not doing so well, and their blood flow wasn't going so well either, and their blood vessels were kind of sick. That's kind of the definition of heart disease. By having the stem cells coming out, they were able to actually double the resiliency, the function of their blood vessels. So they got better rebound, they're better agility. Their blood vessels are in better shape because their stem cells are regenerating their circulation.
Just as some foods fight cancer, others fuel its growth. Let's take a look at what you should avoid to protect your body. Number 1. Sodas. Sugary drinks like sodas fuel cancer by raising glucose levels, which cancer cells thrive on.
Not only does soda actually, the sugar in soda cause inflammation, it really wrecks your microbiome, your gut bacteria as well. Your gut bacteria just can't tolerate that much sugar.
Even diet sodas with artificial sweeteners contribute to insulin resistance and chronic inflammation, increasing the risk of pancreatic and liver cancers. Number 2. Processed meats. Processed meats like bacon and hot dogs contain nitrates and nitrites, which are classified as carcinogens. These compounds damage DNA in the cell's lining, the digestive tract, raising the risk of colorectal cancer. Number 3. Ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods are loaded with unhealthy fats, sugars, and preservatives. They contribute to chronic inflammation and are linked to higher risks of breast and colorectal cancers, lacking protective nutrients like fiber.
Things that used to be like instant foods, got to be really careful about that, because if you take a look at the packaging, and I'm telling you, there's one thing your viewers can get from me about things to watch out for. Whatever you buy, pick it up, if it's in a box or in a can, and look on the side. Don't look just at the label. Look at the name of it. Look at the side and see if you recognize the ingredients. If you start, start losing track and you can't pronounce and you don't know what most of that stuff is, it's an ultra processed food that harms your DNA, that lowers your immunity, that screws up your gut microbiome, it impairs angiogenesis. It actually causes our cells to age faster. Those telomeres burn down faster.
By incorporating cancer-fighting foods into your diet, you empower your body's natural defenses. And just as important, avoiding cancer-fueling foods like sodas and processed meats is critical for prevention. If you found this video helpful, check out our next video on the top 3 supplements to live longer. Just click here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.